going on, guys? Kevin here, and today I want to share with you guys my top 10 hikes and places to visit in Zion National Park. This is one of the most amazing national parks in the country, and it's one of the big 5 national parks in Utah, so it's going to be a good one. We have some classic hikes and some hidden gems in this video, so there's going to be a lot of awesome stuff for you guys to check out, or if you are planning to visit Zion National Park. And just a quick note, I do have a ton of travel guides and a bunch of top 10s and hiking vlogs on my channel. I have videos from Arches National Park, top 10 Utah, top 20 Utah, places all around the USA and beyond. I've been traveling the world for the last 7 years, and I've been to 50 countries, and I have road tripped the USA more times than I can count, so I've got a bunch of other awesome videos that you might want to check out. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. But let's hop right into my top 10 hikes in Zion National Park. Alright, so first up on the list is Emerald Pools, and I actually didn't do this hike for the first handful of visits I've done to the park, but man, do I wish I did this on my first visit. It has to be one of the coolest places in the park. Emerald Pools is a heavily trafficked trail, so you will be doing this hike with a bunch of other people, but it's worth it, and if you leave early, you should be able to beat most of the crowds. The Emerald Pools Trail is about 2.5 miles round trip with around 500 feet of elevation gain. These trail specs are just if you're going to go to the pools and not if you hike the Kayenta Trail, but I'll talk more on that trail later in the video. There are 3 Emerald Pools, lower, middle, and upper. In my opinion, lower and upper are the best. Middle pool was kind of underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Lower Falls had some of the most beautiful morning light I've seen in the park, with a crazy waterfall that you walk right under. Pretty cool. And then the trail starts to get a bit more vertical after this, and you hike through some beautiful rock formations to Middle Pool. We pretty much walked right past Middle Pools and made our way up the final steep push to Upper Pool. This was insane. Upper Emerald Pools showcases one of the tallest waterfalls I've seen in Utah, and you are just surrounded by massive canyon walls. It's definitely a must-do hike in the park. Number 2 is going to be the Zion Canyon Overlook Trail, which is one of the best places to catch sunrise or sunset in the park. This is what I like to call the Angel's Landing alternative hike. I'll touch more on Angel's Landing in the video, but for those who don't know, it's dubbed one of the most dangerous hikes in the USA, which you now need a permit for. But the Zion Canyon Overlook Trail, in my opinion, has nearly the exact same views as Angel's Landing and is a way easier hike. The Overlook Trail hike is only 1 mile round trip with 187 feet of elevation gain. This hike is going to have incredible views of the canyon. There's a beautiful cave on the hike, which is a great spot to catch some shade if you're doing this hike in the middle of summer, and there's some built-in fences along the hike that I think give some pretty cool and jagged trail views. This is a popular trail, so I definitely recommend going early. Plus, sunrise here is awesome, so I'd recommend going early anyways. The main parking lot by the entrance to the tunnel is pretty small, but don't worry, just a few hundred feet up the road there is overflow parking. Next up at number 3 is going to be the Court of the Patriarchs hike, and just a quick note for this is on the Zion Canyon Scenic Drive, and this scenic drive is closed to private vehicles during the shuttle season, which is most of the summer and extended summer months. But as of the time of making this video, the shuttle is free, so you just park and then hop on the shuttle. They make it very easy and convenient to do this. Court of the Patriarchs is the first stop on the scenic shuttle drive. It's an extremely short and easy hike, only clocking in at 0.2 miles round trip with 29 feet of elevation gain. It's a great stop and a quick one, which will allow you to explore more of the park on the same day. The Court of the Patriarchs Trail showcases a beautiful bridge, cascading waterfalls, and beautiful views of the group sandstone cliffs. At number 4, we're going to have the Petroglyph Pools to a slot canyon. This is definitely a hidden gem of the park. Bree and I went during March, which was already an extremely busy month there, and we had this trail entirely to ourselves. This trail is going to be 1.1 miles round trip with 180 feet of elevation gain. However, I do think my Strava had us a little bit closer to 2 miles. We didn't really see a slot canyon unless it was kind of a loose definition of the term, but I have to say the Petroglyph Pools are one of the coolest things I've seen in Utah. So that alone makes the hike worth it. I'd recommend downloading the offline All Trails map because there's not really any signs because this trail sees so little traffic. The parking for this trail is just going to be a pull off on the side of the Zion Park Drive. It is 2.8 miles east of Zion Canyon Overlook Trail. There aren't any signs, so again, I just recommend downloading the All Trails map. And a note on hiking and leaving no trace in general, but also specific to this hike, if you don't already know this, carving anything into any rock is illegal and damaging to the ecosystems of our planet. It's also just disrespectful and takes away from other visitors' experience. No one wants to look at your name carved in a rock, no offense, but let's get together and make our trails beautiful for years and years to come. At number 5, we have the Riverside Walk Trail. This will be somewhat linked with number 6, which will be the Narrows, but I'd like to distinguish the two hikes because there are some major differences. The Riverside Walk is the very last stop of the Zion Canyon Scenic Shuttle. This stop is called the Temple of Sinawaba. The Riverside Trail is going to be 1.9 miles round trip with 193 feet of elevation gain, and this will take you right to the mouth of the Narrows. What I love about this trail is that it is paved the entire way, and the park system has made it extremely accessible. This is an awesome trail for everyone, but it's one I definitely recommend if you are taking someone who doesn't like hiking, or if you're taking your grandparents, younger kids, or anyone who may have a disability or injury. The watercolor is beautiful year-round, and there's just a short period where it's slightly muddier, but that's just because of spring snow runoff. The trail follows a beautiful canyon where you are surrounded by sandstone cliffs. There are a lot of pullouts too, where it would be a great place to have a picnic on the water, but again, bringing up leave no trace, pack out what you pack in, and every bit of food and trash should make its way out of the trail. And following this hike is going to be the Narrows, which is probably one of the coolest trails in Utah and the entire country. This is where the Riverside Walk ends and the water hiking begins. This hike might look slightly different depending on spring snow runoff, time of year, rain, drought, or any other factors that could affect the water levels. After the Riverside Walk, you can begin the Narrows hike bottom up to Big Springs, which is 8.9 miles with 695 feet of elevation gain, which is huge, especially because you're going to be walking in water the entire time, which is going to be ranging from ankle deep all the way to water up to your neck. Height is definitely a factor, so it was much deeper for Bree than it was for me, and some of the spots you are going to be fighting a current, so it is a pretty serious hike. And if you're going to be going during the winter or spring, it is probably a good idea to rent boots, poles, and dry suits. We didn't, which made it extra cold for us, but the cool thing about the Narrows is that there's no one viewpoint or final destination. The entire hike is unbelievably beautiful, so go as far as you please, and then just make the hike back when you decide you want to turn around. You can also hike the Narrows top down, but this is a big 15.5 mile day hike with 1,017 feet of elevation gain. And this is also a point-to-point hike, so you would need to arrange transportation if you don't have 2 cars. Next up is Lower Pine Creek Waterfall. So alongside with the Petroglyph Pools, this is another hike that I'd categorize as a hidden gem of Zion. There were others on this trail, but it was probably less than 10 people altogether. This is going to be a 0.7 mile round trip hike with 55 feet of elevation gain, making it a great quick stop and short trail. This trail is going to be between the entrance to Zion Canyon Scenic Shuttle and the tunnel. If you're looking at a map, the trail starts at the east end of the first switchback on the drive, and the parking is just going to be on the side of the road at a pullout. Another one where there's not too many signs, so I would also recommend downloading the All Trails map for this one. This is a beautiful waterfall that I've never seen photos of before we went. You're surrounded by beautiful peaks, the watercolor is amazing, and the waterfall at the end is in such a cool little cove area. It's always fun and unique to see a waterfall like this in the desert. The trail's relatively straightforward, but to make it all the way back to the waterfall, there will be some rock scrambling depending on which way you take, so just be careful and be prepared with maybe some good traction shoes. At number 8, we're going to have the most famous hike in the entire national park, and that's going to be Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing is famous for its change section where you will navigate some difficult terrain with some pretty serious exposure on the trail, where you will be hiking right next to 1,000-foot drop-offs into the canyon. This is a very adventurous and adrenaline-filled hike where you're going to be hiking 4.4 miles round trip with 1,604 feet of elevation gain, with the change section being at the very end of the hike. The entire trail is beautiful and the views at the top are incredible, and because of the chains, it's going to make this hike a very fun one from the beginning to the end. And as of the time of making this video in 2022, you do need a permit to do this trail, which can be found and purchased at recreation.gov. The permit system was put in place to avoid bottlenecks on the trail and the chains section. And if I'm being honest, I think the chains are somewhat unnecessary as the trail isn't really that gnarly in my opinion. It's actually just some really fun scrambling, but this is coming from someone who hikes and climbs all the time, so if you're not a big hiker, get ready for an intense and beautiful day in Zion on this trail.
This time I need to wait it out. Hold on tight, there's a storm standing in the eye.
Number 9 is going to be Kolob Canyon, and more specifically the Timber Creek Overlook Trail. This is going to be a 1.1 mile hike with 255 feet of elevation gain. Kolob Canyon is a 55-minute drive from Springdale. Because it's in the northwest section of the park, you're going to have to backtrack west towards Tokerville before going north towards Canaverville. I didn't even know about Kolob Canyon until my 5th or 6th visit to the national park. It's like a little hidden gem that not everyone knows about, and it could be its own national park if the park system wanted, just because it's that awesome. It's a short scenic drive through Kolob Canyon, and there's a few trails providing some nice walking and exploring, so this is definitely worth checking out while you visit. And lastly, at number 10 is going to be the Kayenta Trail, which I kind of touched on during the Emerald Pools, but this trail is going to connect the Zion Lodge shuttle stop with the Grotto shuttle stop. It also follows some of the trail of the Emerald Pools, which is on the west side of the Zion Canyon Scenic Shuttle Drive. It runs parallel with the Emerald Pools trail, but it's actually at a slightly higher elevation, so you're going to be getting much better views on this trail. And then after the Emerald Pools, you're going to make your way to the Grotto, and it's going to be a much less traffic trail at this point, so it's a great place to find some solitude and enjoy the views. But anyways guys, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and you found some cool hikes and some helpful insights to planning your trip to the park. Again, if you don't mind, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton, and I've got a bunch of other videos that you might want to check out, so head over to the channel if you want to see any of those. And in the future, hopefully in the next month, I am going to be posting a video about how to visit Zion National Park in 2022, and in this video I'm going to be touching more on the shuttle system, the permit system for Angel's Landing, parking, and pretty much everything you need to know if you don't know anything about the national park. So stay tuned for that, but thanks for watching guys. I hope to see you on a future video, so I will see you later.